it's so spooky because you don't see a single staff member in the hotel. We hear a knock at our door, and my mom, dad, and I, we are scared. We look at each other. I asked him, "Who is it? Who is it?" He just kept knocking. He didn't say anything. No, that's a mistake. It's a compensation. This guy is getting worked up because we just closed the door on him, and his voice is kind of angry and he's threatening. Open the door, it'll take money from me, open the door, open the door. So this restaurant guy, he said that no matter what happens, don't open that door. The way he said it, now I'm like, I'm scared now. Does he have a weapon? Is he going to do something to us, steal us, rob us? So now we'll move to the last and the final story from my trip. And this whole incident, situation happens in Athens, Greece. It was very scary. This story happens when it's the last day in Athens, and the next morning we are leaving for Mykonos. And we were out the whole day and we were not that hungry. So we were like, okay, let's go back to the hotel. And now I'll explain to you what the hotel was like, where we were staying and everything. Because it's all a part of the story. So we were like, okay, let's go back to the hotel. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And then my mom suggested, maybe if you feel like ordering something online when we go there, if we are hungry in the night, we'll just order something from a restaurant nearby. And we were like, okay, fine, that's great, that's cool, that works. And I was like, yeah, of course, every city, of course, now has restaurants that deliver. So we reach our hotel. So now I have to tell you about the hotel. So the kind of hotel we stayed in is called a smart hotel, where they don't have keys for any rooms or anything. They just give you a code when you book. They just give you a code, and everything, even to enter the main gate of the hotel, you enter that code and you enter. So this was not like a hotel. It was like a hotel apartment, which was pretty spacious with its kitchen and the dining area and everything. So we were 3 people, and so we felt this is more convenient, it's more spacious, so let's just stay here instead of staying in a conventional hotel. So we're like, okay, great, this it's great and it looks good, and it was a really good quality and a really highly rated smart hotel and hotel apartment. So I was like, okay, great, And so we have come back from our last day in Athens, and we're like, okay, packing, because next day early morning we have to catch our ferry, and the ferry was supposed to be at 7 a.m. So we have to leave from here. We have to wake up at 4, get ready by 5, and then leave, and so that we can reach on time, because the distance from the hotel apartment, smart hotel, whatever, to the port was more than 45 minutes to an hour. So we were like, okay, we at least have to leave at 5:30 from here. So once we got packed and everything, and we were now settled and resting, and I wasn't that hungry again, but I was like, okay, yeah, let me see, if I want to order something, let's just order something, just like that. I wasn't hungry or anything, but I was like, yeah, we should not let's just order. If I order everybody will eat. So I just looked for some Indian stuff, because that's what my parents like to eat. That's what they are more, they feel more satisfied or content being the last meal of the day, because and even I love Indian food after a point when I'm traveling. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking, and I found this Indian restaurant which was nearby. It could deliver, and this was at 10 o'clock in the night, or something. So I ordered, and then it arrived, and I felt like I ordered less rotis or chapatis, and then I placed one more order for that, thinking that, oh, it's going to be fine only, it will be good only. So I've ordered this, and now I'm waiting, and the order has arrived. And like I said, it's a smart hotel. You can't just enter into the hotel. You have to know the code to enter. So of course, this delivery person, when he comes at the hotel, he calls me, and I've ordered at this restaurant through a delivery app, like how in India we have Zomato and stuff. It was I think Uber Eats. Yeah, it was the app Uber Eats through which I'd ordered food from an Indian restaurant. So my dad went downstairs because it was late in the night. And okay, one more important thing that you need to know about this hotel apartment, is that it's so spooky because you don't see a single staff member in the hotel, and all the people who are staying there, their rooms are shut. So it's basically, it gives you that very weird vibe that you don't see people, apart from if you see somebody going in and out of their rooms and leaving or something, great. And there's this one receptionist that comes in the morning and she's there till 7 p.m. So post 7 p.m, if you're lucky and if you happen to see some guests, great. But there's no such thing as a lobby here where people are sitting and talking and in big groups or something like that, that you feel like, oh, there are people around. So that's not happening. And so my dad was like, okay, you don't go downstairs to pick it up, I'll go, because okay, this hotel is weird and we're in a new country anyway. And and he's always scared about delivery people. Like, even if here in India also, if at home I order something a little like around like 10 p.m, he will collect it. Like, he will not let me go and collect the order. He's like, okay, how much is it? Like, let me go and get it, because he's always scared of delivery people. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not also saying or implying that everyone's bad, but he's just trying to be cautious and trying to be careful, which I get, and I understand that. And so now he's gone, he's collected the order, he's come back to the room. We open the order and we're trying to like gather around, and it's Indian food. So obviously, even if you're not hungry, you get excited that okay, it's Indian food, paneer, sabzi, whatever. And especially when you are outside in a new country, and you're eating Indian, you get even more excited. I don't know why. I don't know if it happens with everyone. Comment below and tell me if it happens with you guys. So, but coming back to the story. So, he's collected the order. We are like sitting at the dining table, and we are like, and I open the package of the rotis or the naans or something, and it's all undercooked. I don't know if I have the picture of it in my phone, but at that point of time I did click a picture, and I was like, oh my god, like, what is this food? And so I was like, I don't want to eat this. It was, forget about undercooked, it was not cooked, it was just maida or atta or something, just the dough. It was not cooked. Forget about undercooked. And so I'm just so bummed out by this. I give the restaurant people a call. And I'm like, what is this? What is this kind of food that you've served? And this is completely like not acceptable food. Like, forget about if it was undercooked or something. This is just simple dough that you've just flattened and given to us. And he was very apologetic. He was like, oh, how can we make it up? Should we send another naan or rotis for you, and like better cooked, properly cooked and stuff? And I was like, no, if you want, I can show the picture of this to you, because this is like completely not acceptable. She's like, no, the guy's like, no, we believe you. No need for sending pictures, no need for proof. We believe you. If you're saying that you've received this order, or not proper standard quality food, then we believe you. And he's like, but we want to compensate. How can we make it up to you? So I'm like, no, there's no need. We don't need anything to eat. And he's like, what can we do? So, and now, mind you, the next day we were leaving in the morning, and for some reason, I don't know if you guys have had soft drinks when you travel to European countries, but I would say that do try some soft drinks when you travel to some countries. Fanta being the one of them, because my mom, dad, and we had Fanta in a South Indian restaurant in Athens itself, and we fell in love with it. It didn't feel like a soft drink. It didn't feel like it was a canned drink. It felt like somebody has just squeezed orange juice and given to us. It was that good. It was that not too sugary, very, very good quality, and didn't feel like very carbonated or anything. It was very right amount of everything. And it felt like a juice and not a soft drink. So that was the main reason. So I was like, okay, we are traveling tomorrow, we like this Fanta thing here, and so okay, if you want to compensate, send us some Fantas or something if you have. And he's like, yeah, sure, we have, how many would you like? And I was like, yeah, however many you want to send, like, and he was sending us like 4 or 5 or 6 cans of Fantas for some reason. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever, he wants to compensate. Fanta is something you can carry and travel, and you can drink, whatever. So He sent it to us. Now here's where the story starts getting a little weird and gets crazier as it moves forward. Because this because this new delivery guy, he comes to give the order. Except what happens is that this guy, and so, okay, again, one more detail that I need to mention. When I placed the order, in the first order that the food had arrived, I had put the room number in the address. But still the guy didn't, but that guy came downstairs because of course he didn't know the code, so he cannot come to the room. Now, I did not think of it or something, and I was like, oh, that guy will come downstairs and give us a call and my dad will go and get it. Like with the first order, what happened? But what happens is that this guy comes to deliver the order. We hear a knock at our door, room door. And my mom, dad and I, we are scared. Because we look at each other, we're like, this is like a haunted kind of hotel. No people you see outside in the lobby, in the whatever. Who has come to a room? Because there's no staff member also. And so for 5 minutes, I was like, what's happening? Like, what's happening? And my dad was like, my dad just got up. He was on the bed and he just got up. And he's like, oh my God, what's... And I kept on asking that guy. He just kept knocking on the door. And not a very mild knock, but like kind of a little aggressive knock, you know. And he kept on knocking and he didn't say anything. But then I asked him, who is it? Who is it? He just kept knocking. He didn't say anything. Then I asked him, are you from the staff? And he hesitated, but then he said yes. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe somebody must have come today in the evening for evening shift as a receptionist or something, and we didn't know. So maybe they want to talk about something or ask something or whatever. But still, the skepticism is still there. The skeptical person that I am. My mom and my dad and I, we both walked to the door, and it's like a huge, long room because like it has like a lot of space. So there's this, my mom's dad, there's this bed here, and then I had like a separate bed on the side, and it was like a huge room where there was this dining table next to my bed, and then there was this kitchen area, and then there was the door. We both go up to the door, and I open the door, and I just slightly open it to ask or to see his face or to see who is this person, what does he want. And I realized that he lied. First of all, that he's not from the staff, he's the delivery guy. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I've come to deliver your order. And I was like, how did you get in? How did you come up to our room? Because there's no way he could come up until he knew the code of that place. Okay, now a really important thing, again, one more thing that I think I'm missing, which I think I will say later, because that's also one very important thing. So right before he came up to the room, there was some electrical thing that happened in the room. There was some loud noise that came as if somebody banged something, and there was this electrical, like for some seconds light flickered or something. And then 5 minutes later, this guy walks into the knocks at our door, like 5-10 minutes later. But I didn't connect the two things, and I'll tell you later like why those two things might be connected. So now this guy is standing outside and my dad is there, and I'm like, okay. Then he's like I've come to deliver your order. Then I'm like, okay, yeah, give it. And then I'm like, he's like 11 euros, and I'm like, no, there's a mistake, it's a compensation, you're not supposed to charge us. And I'm like, how come do even have a bill? Like, you're not supposed to charge us. So he's like, no, but 11 euros, you have to pay me 11 euros. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You know, I just told him to wait, and I just took the bag, like the parcel from him, and I just took it and I locked the door. And now I called the restaurant guy, that I was like, oh, there's some confusion. Like, why is he asking for money? Maybe the Uber Eats people do not know that it's a compensation from the restaurant for the kind of food they sent us. So I called this person, this restaurant guy, and he picks up, and he's like, you know, there's no way this delivery person should be asking money from you, because we have mentioned in the order that this is a compensation. And the craziest thing was that he said that the Uber Eats people know that this is a compensation, that there's no way that this person should be asking for money. And I told him that this person is standing right outside my room door, and he's knocking and he's kind of threatening us to pay the bill, because he's like, oh, they will take from they will cut from my payment, they will cut from my salary or something. And then this guy says something after that. I'm very scared. So this hotel guy is like, restaurant guy is telling me that, how did he come up to your room? Like whatever. So this restaurant guy, he said that no matter what happens, don't open that door. And I was like, the way he said it, now I'm like, I'm scared now. Like now something's wrong, something's happening. I don't know who is wrong. I don't know if this restaurant guy is trying to like act up for the complaint that I made, I shouldn't have, or maybe just Uber Eats people, there's some confusion. So he's telling me, don't open the door. Give me 2 minutes. I'll call the Uber Eats people, talk to them that when it is mentioned in the order that this is a compensation, you're not supposed to charge. Why is this delivery person standing outside your door and knocking at your door asking you for money? So I'm like, okay, yeah, please talk to them and please give me a call, because I'm really scared, because this guy is standing outside my door and it's like really crazy. And so he gives us a call back after 5 minutes and he's like, okay, I've spoken to them. They're like, the delivery guy should know that this is a compensation, because the Uber Eats people are also aware that this is a compensation. He's not supposed to ask for money from you guys. And so I was like, yeah, but he's standing outside, and now by this time it's gotten so crazy that this guy is getting worked up, because we just closed the door on him, and since then we did not open that door, because I was like, this is a crazy situation now, it's getting crazier. And even the restaurant guy told us that do not open that door, because you are not supposed to give him money, any money whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, I will not open the door, but this guy is like knocking incessantly. He's knocking and he's like yelling, and not yelling, but like his voice is kind of angry and he's threatening. Open the door, something like that, that, oh, they will take money from me, open the door. And now I'm very scared, like my parents are very scared, we all are very scared now. And I'm waiting for this guy to call me back after talking to the Uber Eats people, and he called me back, and then he said that, oh, now the Uber Eats people are trying to call the guy for him to ask him to go away to leave your premises, because it's mentioned that he's not supposed to take money. So now he's like, you call the Uber Eats people, ask them, because I'm not able to reach them now anymore. So ask them and tell them to ask this guy to leave. I call the Uber Eats people. There's this really nice and really helpful woman. She comes on call with me, and she asks me what the concern is. I explain to her the whole situation, and she's like, oh yeah, I see here that the hotel has sent a compensation. The delivery guy knows that he's not supposed to take money from you. So she was also very surprised. She's like, then why is he taking money from you? And I explained her the whole situation, that our hotel is like a smart hotel, it has a code as a lock, you can't enter without the code. And she's like, are you sure you did not give him the code? And I'm like, I am damn sure I have not shared this code with anybody. Only my mom, dad and I, we know the code to the hotel premises and our room. And she's like, okay, then it's very weird that first of all, he's inside without you sharing the code with him. And second, that when he knows that he's not supposed to charge you anything, he's asking for money. And I'm like, oh, this guy is constantly knocking me, and my parents and I are very scared, like what to do. Now at this point, even the Uber Eats customer care lady who's talking to me, she's also like, no matter what happens, do not open that door. And I'm like, now I'm more scared, because I'm like, everybody, if they're saying this, that we should not open the door, means something is wrong, and thank God for my instinct that I felt that, okay, something's not right about this guy, and I just closed the door on him. And my dad, for some reason, he was like, okay, maybe he doesn't know, let me explain to him the situation. I'm like, Dad, the restaurant is saying that they've not charged. The Uber Eats people are saying that he knows that he's not supposed to take any money from us. He's clearly wrong here. He's clearly trying to do something here. But my dad like always sees like thinks of good in people. So he never thinks that way or something. And I, over the years, I think I've gotten a little skeptical of people when, like if something doesn't feel right. Or my instincts in general are also very strong when I get a vibe about something. I'm like, even if I don't know exactly what the thing is, but I get a vibe if something was weird, off, or good, bad, whatever. And I was like, Dad, both of them are saying, do not open that door. We are not opening that door. Okay? Stop thinking of good in people when people are warning you to not do that. And then he was like, okay, yeah, but this whole thing has gone for more than 30 minutes now. This guy is at the door, knocking, threatening us to open the door for the bill, which he is not supposed to take, and it's not about the money. But we were so scared, like we don't know if he's just gonna take the money and leave. Is he gonna do it? Does he have a weapon? Is he gonna do something to us, steal us, rob us, whatever? I don't know. Is he gonna harm us? I don't know anything. So I'm like, okay, everybody's warned us. No, there's no way we are opening that door for sure. And okay, so now this customer care lady, she's like, and I'm like, okay, he's not supposed to be there. Let me give him a call from our end to this delivery guy and ask him to leave. So and she's like, okay, you just wait and I'm going to give you a call back once I've spoken to him. So I'm waiting for her call. It's been 5, 7, 10 minutes. I'm waiting, and then she calls me. And thankfully now again, the only number that had like international roaming active was my dad's number. Otherwise, this whole thing would have been so inconvenient if we were not able to call the customer care people through a international roaming number. How would we? Because you can't WhatsApp call a customer service platform or whatever. So yeah, that's also one very important thing that people can keep in mind when they travel, that one of them should have international roaming. If anything, God forbid, then if they need to reach to any customer care facilities. So now this the Uber Eats customer care lady, she's called me and she's like, I've spoken to this guy, I've told him to leave. It's very weird that he came up to your room door. It's very weird that he asked money from you, because he's not supposed to do that. He's not supposed to do any of these things, because all these things are very clear. There's something clearly wrong here, and we will definitely look into it in detail, and we will definitely take this very seriously. So I'm like, okay. After this, the thing that she said to me was like, oh my God, it just made me feel like people have all these notions about when they travel that, oh, people are only bad, but that's not true. Because what she said made me feel like, oh yeah, genuinely the restaurant guy was trying to look out for us and wanting for us to be safe and, fine and everything. And even the same with this customer care lady, because she said that I've told him to leave and I can see he has left your location. He's not at your room door. He's left, because there was pin drop silence. But I didn't want to believe, because there was a point of time in between where he would say silent and then he would start knocking. So I was like, right now I see in the location that he has left from your hotel. He's nowhere near your hotel because we have spoken to him. But she said that still do not open that door, because what if there's some glitch in the system? And now I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Whatever good things we've done, it's paid today, because I don't know what would have happened if he had opened that door. I don't know what was in this guy's mind, what was he trying to do, but I'm sure that none of it was a good thing at all. None of it was good. So I think God saved us that night, because yeah. And I'm so thankful to the restaurant guy. But had he sent us proper food, none of this would have happened. But still, he was very, very concerned. He wanted us to be safe, and he tried his best to warn us, to calm us down, to help us, and to make the situation better for us in any way he could. So I'm very thankful to him that he was responsible enough, and he was he handled the situation the way he should have handled the situation. And same goes for the Uber Eats customer care woman. I don't know her name, I don't know who she is, but if she ever watches this, if she realizes that, yeah, who it was or whatever, and if she knows that, that she helped me or whatever, then I'm very thankful to you. Sometimes big organizations or big apps, you think that they might not care, but this lady, the way she handled the situation, the way she was trying to keep us safe and everything, that he's left but still don't open the door, what if there's a glitch in the system. So she was trying to look out for us, and I really, really appreciate it, because you never know what could someone do. And so thank you so much to both the restaurant and the Uber Eats people for being so on your toes and taking the situation seriously. I don't know if this would have happened in any other country and people would have taken it seriously. I don't know. I don't know if it would have happened in India, somebody at night at 10:30, 11 a.m., at 10:30, 11 p.m. customer care executive would be so helpful to me. I don't know. But I hope all the people who work in the customer care industry, they take every situation very, very seriously, because you never know what could be like a life or death situation for someone or someone's family. So yeah, this was the crazy travel nightmare stories from my travels to Paris and Athens this year. Yeah, I hope none of you have to go through this, none of you have to experience this. So yeah, I hope you watch the video and you try to be safe, try to be aware. If something feels weird, if your instinct tells you something, you listen to it quickly in that moment. You don't wait, you don't question or second guess yourself. I hope you can do that when you travel, because you never know, because you can't go back and change something if something would happen. So yeah, just make sure that you think on your feet if something feels weird. Also, one more thing that I would like to share is that one very important thing. In the middle of the story, I had told you guys that that there was electrical something failure or lights flickering right before this guy entered. Right before this guy knocked on our door, the delivery guy. Turns out what happened was, we were thinking, how did this guy enter? And then I spoke to the Uber Eats customer care lady, thinking, you have to ask this guy, how did he enter? Did he enter behind someone? How did he enter the premises? And she was like, yeah, we are going to take this very seriously. We are going to interrogate him. We are going to question him, ask him, why did he do this, and everything, and how did he get inside the hotel. Also, in the morning, so I found out, I got a little bit of inkling towards how he must have entered, because the next morning, like I said before, that we were supposed to take a ferry from the port early in the morning. So we had called our Uber at 5:30 and we were leaving. We left and suddenly I realized that I have left some t-shirt or something in the wardrobe, in the hotel wardrobe. And I was like, okay, and we had not left far from the hotel, we just left, and I was like, oh wait, I forgot this, so we had to go back. So of course, like every time when you enter the hotel, you have to enter the code, and the machine of the code was loose. It was like somebody had tampered with it, because I remember before that the machine was properly stuck to the wall, very tightly stuck to the wall, and it was like properly fixed and everything. But when I went after, to get my t-shirt, I found that the machine was loose. It was hanging a little bit, and then I put the code in, and then I was like, because when you leave a hotel, you don't have to enter the code. So if I would have not left my t-shirt and not went back, I would not have realized that maybe that's how he entered the hotel. But because all of that happened, and because I went back to add the code and I saw the machine in that condition, I felt that okay, that electrical failure thing that happened 10-15 minutes before, the sound that I heard of somebody banging, maybe he banged the machine, maybe he did something, and maybe that's how he entered the hotel. So that's also, I kind of figured out that how he must have entered the hotel, and then we left. And I also made a complaint to the smart hotel people that you need to have more staff and you you need to specifically have staff at night so that these things don't happen. Because what if somebody just walks after somebody, and what if something happens to someone else because of that? So you need to take this seriously. And the lady at the reception, she was also like, yeah, we've received quite a few people have pushed us to do this. We've received quite a few complaints that we need to have staff. It can't be like alone, lonely, or like completely empty in the night. Because if you see, when you go to this particular hotel at the end of the night, every room is shut. You don't see one single person, which is like very scary and spooky. Okay. And so you don't know if there's legit people are staying here, or if it's just you and your family in the hotel. How do you know if you don't see anybody? You never know, about these things. Also, in a very funny, weird way, when we were coming back to Athens, because we had a flight to Paris from Athens, so we had to, from Mykonos, travel back to Athens, take a ferry, travel back to Athens after 3 days, and then we were supposed to take a flight to Paris. And we were looking for hotels, and for some reason all the hotels were booked. We didn't get any good hotels. So we finally, on that day also, we saw that a booking is available in this hotel apartment. And we had stayed in the room, and the room was pretty nice and comfortable, and it was really spacious, like I said. So we were like, okay, we had that experience, but we just have to stay the night. We fly back in the morning and everything. In the noon we had a flight, so in the morning we can also complain to the hotel staff that this happened, you need to be more careful or something. So let's just stay here, nothing's gonna happen, and anyway, whatever had to happen happened, and whereas it is careful. So yeah, we stayed there the night, and one small thing happened at that night also, that we were leaving to have dinner at this Indian restaurant, and we were leaving, and there's this guy that just got down from a cab, and he was like almost entering the hotel, and we were leaving in our cab, and he looked pretty decent. A guy, he was like a young guy, pretty decent. He didn't look weird or nothing like that. But still, I was like cautious from like few days before. Like I was so skeptical, and like I was very vigilant and aware and on like high alert or something. My mom was like holding the door open for him, and I was like, Mom, don't do that. And he was just standing next to me, and I just pulled the door and I closed the door, and I'm like, you can enter the code and enter the hotel. And he's like, that's how rude, like that's so rude. And I'm like, sorry if that's rude to you, but we had a very bad experience in the hotel, and it's not safe. This is for your safety and our safety that we don't let people enter after us. Only the people who enter, they can enter the code, and then they should enter. So then he got it, he understood the situation, then he went inside, we left for our dinner. And later on in the morning when we were leaving, this one elderly couple, they walked in, and while I was complaining about these things, this elderly couple walked in, and he's like, we're staying here since 2 days. There was like, we've not found anybody in the hotel. Like, what's happening? We've not seen one single person. We've only received an email. And okay, this code that you were supposed to enter into the hotel, they send you an email. So there's no physical person that is coming you and giving you the code or something. And yeah, the next day we complained, and we heard this elderly couple also complaining and everything. So I'm sure they get a lot of complaints. I'm sure a lot of people stay there also because, like I said, it was a really nice place to stay, very near, very close by to everything, and big rooms, very spacious, a proper modular kitchen, and you can cook a meal for 4 people and everything. So that's the final end to this, the last and the crazy story from my travel nightmare stories. And I hope you guys travel to Athens and be safe, because Athens has a lot of people like that, on the streets and everything, who, unfortunately, who need rehabilitation. So you never know what could be on someone's mind. But yeah, so be safe. I hope you watch this video. I hope you like it and share it with someone who's traveling solo, alone to these places, and they can be careful. And yeah, comment below and tell me if you guys have had any crazy travel stories like that. And I would love to hear that. And hopefully, if you want to hear more travel stories, not just nightmare stories, but like good travel stories, let me know that also down in the comments below. and I will see you guys again in the next video. Till then, stay safe, bye, and trust your instincts. Bye.